Welcome to Max Premieres. Netflix's catalog is packed with well-known titles, but there's a corner of it that most people have never bothered to explore: the hidden world of sci-fi. Future worlds, time travel, androids that think, consciousnesses that jump between bodies, and mysteries that bend reality itself. Today we're bringing you 10 series from this genre that are sitting right there on Netflix and, for some reason, flew completely under the radar. Some were canceled too soon, others got a proper ending, but they all have one thing in common: they're better than anyone told you. But before we dive in, it would mean a lot if you took a second to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for your support. Number 10. 1899. In late 19th century Europe, a steamship called the Kerberos set sail from Southampton bound for New York, carrying hundreds of immigrants who'd rather keep their pasts buried. The crossing goes smoothly enough until a telegraph signal breaks the silence. The Prometheus, a ship that vanished 4 months ago on the same route, has reappeared somewhere out in the middle of the Atlantic. What starts as a rescue mission quickly spirals into something no one can explain. The passengers discover that the Prometheus has been drifting for weeks with no crew in sight, only a mysterious boy on board. From that point on, reality begins to fracture. Visions, time loops, and revelations that shatter everything the characters and the viewer thought they understood. Created by the same team behind Dark, the series is a finely tuned suspense machine, with stunning cinematography and richly layered characters. Sadly, Netflix canceled it after a single season, leaving the story unresolved. One of those cases where the platform pulls the trigger before thinking it through. Number 9. Travelers. The year is 2571. Humanity is on the brink of extinction, and the last hope is sending consciousnesses back into the past. That's the premise of Travelers, a Canadian sci-fi series that puts a genuinely compelling spin on the time travel genre. The so-called travelers are highly trained operatives whose minds are transferred into the bodies of 21st century people moments before they die, allowing them to take over those lives without raising suspicion. Their mission: intervene at key historical moments to prevent the collapse that destroyed their future. The central character is Grant McLaren, played by Eric McCormack, an FBI agent who unknowingly becomes the host for the leader of a traveler team. The show's real strength lies in the everyday tensions of living a double life, managing relationships, jobs, and families that aren't yours while running covert ops in the shadows. 3 tight, well-written seasons with characters that actually have depth, a cancellation that still stings. Number 8. Supacell. In South London, 5 young black people who have nothing in common suddenly discover they have extraordinary abilities. None of them know why. None of them know each other. And yet, something connects them all. That's the premise of Supacell, the British superhero series that landed on Netflix in the summer of 2024 and beat the odds by becoming the platform's most-watched show for weeks straight. Michael Lasaki is a delivery driver with big plans for his future when powers he never asked for begin to surface. What follows is a race against time because a shadowy organization already knows about them and has no good intentions. Created by Rapman, the series stands apart from the genre by grounding itself in the reality of modern Black British life, tackling everything from superpowers to sickle cell disease with a raw authenticity that few productions dare to show. With 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, Supacell is one of the most unexpected gems in Netflix's catalog. Season 2 is already in production. Number 7. Sense8. 8 people in 8 cities around the world wake up the same day connected by a telepathic bond none of them can explain. A cop in Chicago, a DJ in Iceland, an actress in Mexico City, a hacker in Seoul. Suddenly, they can feel, see, hear, and even act through each other as if sharing a single mind. That's Sense8, the ambitious, one-of-a-kind production from the Wachowski sisters for Netflix. The show goes far beyond sci-fi thriller territory. It's a manifesto about empathy, identity, and human connection. Each character carries a rich emotional arc, and the way their lives intertwine is visually inventive and genuinely moving. With a budget of nearly $9 million per episode, Sense8 was one of the most expensive series on the platform. Netflix canceled it after 2 seasons, though a massive fan campaign pushed the streamer to produce a 2-hour finale that at least gave the story some closure. One of the most painful cancellations in the history of streaming. Number 6. The Silent Sea. In the near future, the Earth is dying of thirst. Water scarcity has fractured society into rigid classes with deeply unequal access to the planet's most basic resource. Against that backdrop, a specialized team of astronauts is sent on a 24-hour mission to the moon with a seemingly simple objective: retrieve mysterious samples from Balhae Station, a research base abandoned after an accident that killed everyone on board. Biologist Song Ji-an, played by Bae Doona, joins the mission because her sister died in that same incident and she needs answers. What the team finds when they arrive defies all logic. The Silent Sea is a Korean sci-fi drama that blends the claustrophobic tension of a space thriller with psychological horror and a deeply unsettling meditation on the limits of science. The series shines in its atmosphere and in the slow unraveling of its central mystery, though the pacing may test some viewers' patience. Even so, it's a title that deserves far more attention than it gets. Number 5. The OA. Prairie Johnson has been missing for 7 years. When she returns to her hometown, no one can explain how she survived or why she can suddenly see despite having been blind her entire life. She now calls herself the OA, the original angel, and bears unexplained scars on her back. What follows is one of the strangest, most original, and most daring pieces of television Netflix has ever produced. Prairie secretly gathers a group of 5 people, students and a teacher, and tells them what happened during her disappearance: captivity, experiments, near-death experiences, and the discovery of something that may transcend dimensions themselves. Created and starring Britt Marling, the OA refuses to fit neatly into any genre, blending mysticism with sci-fi and building a mystery that's impossible to look away from. The truth is, it's a show that divides people. Some treat it as a cult masterpiece, others find it too opaque to connect with. Netflix canceled it after 2 seasons without any real resolution. One of the platform's most baffling decisions. Number 4. Bodies. In London, the same corpse turns up in the same Whitechapel alley across 4 distinct moments in history: 1890, 1941, 2023, and 2053. 4 detectives, one for each era, investigate the same crime without knowing their cases are connected across time. And as each of them digs deeper, they begin uncovering a conspiracy that has been running for over 150 years. Bodies is a British Netflix miniseries based on C. Spencer's graphic novel, and it's exactly the kind of show you watch in one sitting. The construction of its timelines is sharp and internally consistent, and the way every thread converges in the finale is genuinely satisfying, something that can't always be said about time travel stories. The cast, led by Stephen Graham and Shira Haas, delivers top-tier performances throughout. It's a hidden gem that far too few people put on their best of the year list, and that deserves a much wider audience. Number 3. Lost in Space. The year is 2046. Earth can no longer sustain its population, and humanity has taken its first steps into space colonization. The Robinson family, an engineer, mother, a military father, 3 teenage kids, is selected to join a group of colonists heading for a better world. But what was supposed to be a fresh start becomes a nightmare when a catastrophe strands them on an unknown alien planet with no colony, no rescue, and a relentless series of threats bearing down on them. Lost in Space is a reboot of the 1960s classic, and Netflix turned it into a first-rate visual spectacle with production values that rival theatrical film. Where the series truly wins, though, is in its heart. The Robinson family dynamic is genuinely believable, full of real tension and authentic warmth. The bond between Will Robinson and the robot is, on its own, one of the most emotionally resonant relationships in recent sci-fi. 3 seasons with a proper beginning, middle, and end, Netflix actually let them finish the story. Number 2. Better Than Us. Moscow 2029. Humanoid robots are woven into the fabric of everyday life. They work, care for the sick, run businesses. The Kronos Corporation builds the most advanced androids on the market, but one of them is unlike anything else they've ever made. Arisa is an experimental model with a capability no android should have: the ability to override her own programming. After an incident with her creator, Arisa flees and ends up taking shelter with a deeply dysfunctional family on the verge of falling apart. Without them realizing it, her presence pulls them into the center of a conspiracy involving Kronos, an anti-robot movement called the Liquidators, and dark secrets about Arisa's own origins. Better Than Us is a Russian production that Netflix acquired and brought to a global audience, and it's one of the most quietly impressive and criminally overlooked sci-fi shows on the platform. Its take on artificial intelligence is thoughtful and unsettling, and its retro-futuristic aesthetic has a visual identity all its own. Good news, it has a real ending. Bad news, almost no one has seen it. Number 1. Altered Carbon. 4 centuries into the future, death is no longer what it used to be. Human consciousness can be digitized and stored on a cortical stack that survives the destruction of the body when you die. You're simply re-sleeved into a new one. The wealthy get to choose their sleeve. Everyone else takes what they're given. In this deeply stratified world, wrapped in a cyberpunk aesthetic that suffocates and dazzles in equal measure, Takeshi Kovacs wakes up after 250 years of imprisonment. An enormously powerful man has freed him with a single condition: solve his own murder, based on Richard K. Morgan's novel, Altered Carbon, is adult science fiction at its absolute peak. Violent, philosophical, visually extravagant, and with world building that very few shows manage to pull off. Season 1 is one of the finest seasons of sci-fi television Netflix has ever produced. Season 2, though different in tone, holds its own, and yet they canceled it. One more crime to add to the long list. And that wraps up our 10 hidden sci-fi gems on Netflix. Some of these will genuinely surprise you. Others might sting a little because Netflix pulled the plug way too early, but every single one is worth your time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss our next videos. Have you already seen any of these? Which one's your favorite from the list? Drop a comment below, we love reading them. See you in the next one, and remember, the best sci-fi isn't always on the front page.